guys, it's nice to be seeing me again. So yeah, after reviewing the Sims 4 businesses and hobbies and seeing honestly what I think could have been better, I wanted to talk about honestly the ideas I had for this pack when I first heard of its announcement and had some great ideas I'd like to discuss. So today I actually have this for you. A little presentation I put together to talk about what could have been in the pack after I reviewed it that could have made it better. So we'll be summing it down into a few categories. So we'll be having mostly a focus on hobbies. We'll be talking about a bunch of stuff. I specifically am doing this as if it were a get to work refresh and not a whole new pack by itself. Now it still could be, but this is my idea. So first up, Magnolia Promenade, the smallest world in The Sims 4 with only 4 lots and nothing really to do. So I thought the best thing would be to upgrade, completely update Magnolia Promenade and add in a retail section like the one we have now, a small business section where you find the small businesses, and an emergency section. Now this emergency section will make it so your Sims can officially access the hospital and police station outside of the career. Same would apply for the science center if you put it in Oasis Springs. Clearly that's the world that building is supposed to be in. Not only that, but there will be new lot types and meetup locations for events, which I will be discussing later, and residents will be added. Now, also with the illness and pregnancy system, I would make it so your Sims would be required to go to the hospital to get treatment, medication, and also get ultrasounds and check on the baby. You know, fulfilling those really happy parts of life. Also, I allow for the police station, now that we have burglars in game, I allow for the police station for you to file a report about a burglar, with a small chance of the burglar eventually getting apprehended and your stuff returned. Now, here's the main focus I wanted to talk about. The main thing I had a problem with this pack is there's literally no hobbies that come with this pack except for like 2. I don't count tattooing as a hobby because it's not really a hobby, it's more of a job. Unless you tattoo yourself, which is impossible. So I based it off The Sims 2 Free Time. The Sims 2 Free Time had categories of hobbies that you could develop interest in. So instead, I just made categories, and we'll be discussing each along with new skills and the ideas behind them. So first up is nature. Nature involves the Sims who love the outdoors and love exploring the outdoors. The new skills I would include with this is hiking, deep sea fishing, and bird watching. Boats would be officially added in this pack as Magnolia Promenade would have a pier where your Sims can sail off into the ocean and go deep sea fishing. Also, birds would now have their own collection where you can take photos of the birds or feathers, you can learn to call them as you level up the skill, and you can even keep one as a pet. Other things I would include under this are basic additions and additions from other packs such as swimming, fishing, gardening, flower arranging, and so much more. Something interesting I do think would be good for this pack that I did not write about because it's not really, I'm mostly focusing on the pack itself rather than cross-pack compatibility. I do think there could be an occult type of hobby, but that's less important right now. Next up, this is my favorite category. This is the one I personally really wanted with this expansion pack, which is games. So there will be new skills of arcade gaming, D&D, board games, and gambling. There are brand new arcade machines, new board and card games your Sims could have, poker, craps, slots, you get the gist. It costs money to play the arcade games and the gambling games off lot, but it doesn't cost anything when you play at home. Also, for the arcade games, you can earn tickets and collect prizes. Now let it be known, it would just be like real life, some arcade games actually require skill, while others are completely based off luck. Some of the base game additions that would come with this skill are the addition of video gaming and programming, and many more if any were to come up. So next up is technology and tinkering. I thought since The Sims 4 is now in a modern day, we should include technology with tinkering. So the new skills I thought of were VR, virtual reality, PC building, personal computer building, bicycle repair, and 3-dimensional printing or 3D printing. PC builds can be put near computers and used. So similar to how the Little Simsy kit came out and had that computer tower you could sit next to your computer, you could do that same thing, but this item is usable and will connect to your computer, making the computer either increase your needs faster, make skills gain faster. There's so many benefits that can come from it. Lastly, bicycles now can break, and they do need to get taken in for repair. So you can take it to a bicycle repair shop. Pretty simple, your Sim can basically fix bikes. The other skills that would come with this that would be added from the base game are the handiness, tinkering, rocket science, and logic skill. Next up is athletics. So athletics I really thought would be really cool because back in the Sims 2 Free Time, they had like a sports park where Sims could engage in athletics. Now the problem is I could not put skills in that were from other packs, so that's what made this a little hard. But I did figure out something I would add. I would add golf, cycling, baseball, karate, skateboarding, and roller skating. Pretty simple stuff that would just need a lot for you to play on, or just you can go around town in. There'll be new indoor and out and location equipment. So new equipment you can use at home versus having to go somewhere and actually use it. For example, your Sim's not gonna have a baseball diamond in their backyard. Like, they're gonna have to go somewhere to play that. So there will be single playing and team playing. So you can play by yourself as a Sim, or you can play as a team. And then you can start a team if you want. Similar to how bands would work in The Sims 3. And the only base game skill that would really be added is fitness. Next up is music. So music is a very interesting one because we got a lot of that stuff. And it really disappointed me because they literally had a framed saxophone in game, but you couldn't use it. So the skills I thought would be great are ballet, saxophone, drums, trumpet, cello, flute, French horn, etc. Like, there's limitless possibilities with this. Each instrument would be its own skill, and you can jam with others or perform in an orchestra, similar to The Sims 3. And the other additions that would come, obviously, are other base game instruments such as the guitar, the piano, violin, singing, things like that. Next up, I have arts and crafts. This one, there's a lot. Again, there's so many different arts and crafts, but I summed it down to things I think would be really cool that would help this pack shine the most. So I obviously said pottering and tattooing can stay. They were good additions, but there will now be glass blowing, comic book writing, dressmaking, and hairstyling. The color wheel will be added to new dresses and hairstyling and tattooing, so that way your Sim can select certain colors, roots, highlights, and also put stamps on them and stencils and even draw it themselves. It helps make some more personalized things with it. Pottery and glass blowing objects that you can create will be functional, similar to the recent pack where a bunch of the pottery items are functional versus non-functional just for decoration. There will be some that you can use. And lastly, the writing skill will get an update in this pack. You can now write one book, or you can write a series where instead of one book, like when your Sim writes a book, it appears and they just have a singular book. I'd make it so your Sim can print a series. So it'd look like a box of multiple books, and your Sims can sell them for money and publish them. And the only skills that would really be added to this from the base game are painting, woodworking, and writing. Lastly is food and culinary. This one definitely I had to think about because we've only had one thing that we really added to this pack that we could really flesh out. So first off, I thought we could add candy making / confectionery, freeze dry food making, and teppanyaki. So the way candy making I would make in this pack is there is still the candy machine, but it's no longer just lollipops, just jelly beans, just freaking cotton candy. There's a cotton candy machine now that you have to use. But I would also add things like you can make licorice, you could make like chocolate, like there would be a chocolate table that your Sim would have to bake chocolate on, and you know, like format it, put it all together, warm it up, all that. And they can make different kind of designs. They can make chocolate sculptures, they can make chocolate bunnies, gummies. You see where I'm going here? Freeze dry food, pretty simple. Your Sims can experiment with freeze drying with dry ice, again a new item to help make new food. It's a new skill. And that's why I really wanted to do this, because I did not want the skills to be attached to cooking. That's a problem Sims 4 has. If it makes food, it cooks. That's the problem, which is not true. For example, there's cakes under the cooking menu, but if you have to get to work, you unlock baking. Yet cakes are not under baking. Why does that happen? Lastly, teppanyaki, a very traditional food that you always see, food style you always see. You know, if you don't know what it is, think about those people in movies where you see like Japanese, I think it's Japanese or Chinese chef. Regardless, I can't remember what culture it is, but it's basically like a lot of food where you like have the grill in front of you and you're like chopping around and like, you know, doing tricks and like making the food in front of people, like that kind of stuff. I feel like that'd be really fun, especially with your Sims. Like as they level up, you can see them do more like crazy cool tricks that they can do to impress people. And that's the number one thing I said. These skills would not be limited to a singular device. For example, in the pack, candy making is limited to a candy machine. That's it. I think it'd be much better to make it so you had multiple ways you can make food, kind of like cooking where you can use multiple items. And that's a problem I have with Sims 4 cooking in general. In previous Sims games, you had multiple kind of devices you can use. Home Chef Hustle did help with this, and I think this could help it a lot more. Because Home Chef Hustle, it made sense that pizza making, like the pizza making, the mixer, and all that was related to cooking. It made sense that way. This case, it does not, because these are more special. These aren't things you make every day. Cooking is more like stuff you make every day. Lastly, the two additions would be cooking and gourmet cooking. just simple base game additions that would follow through on this. So next up is the meetups. The meetups in the game were very lame. There's literally nothing to do other than do the skill that's celebrating and talk. And that's pretty much it. So I flushed these out to make it so there are different locations in the city, and they each have kind of their own events happening. The reason why I'm doing this is because I'm basing it off the city living festivals, because I personally love the city living festivals because there's more than just one thing to do. For example, GeekCon is my favorite. I try to attend it all the time because you could build rockets, you could compete in a programming competition, you could take pictures with cosplayers, you could play video games, you could literally go into a video game competition. There was so much opportunity. Same thing with the Spice Festival and the Humor and Hijinks Festival, flea market, but regardless, there were multiple things to do, and that's what really helps me. This pack, I think, could really help get Sims outside their homes, and that's the number one thing I have a problem with Sims 4, but that's another video for another time. So nature will take place in a city park, that one that you saw in the trailer, that's like a bunch of forests and all that. So in this city park, you can get, at this event, you can get bird watching tips from other Sims, you can do a community swim, everybody's just enjoying the water, and you can do the walk and talk, which is where Sims just go hiking and chat it up. Either get a tour or just have some fun together. Games will take place at the comic book store. There will be an arcade tournament, so you simply compete across arcade games. There will be D&D sessions, so your Sims can just join in on a little fun, and there would be a poker tournament. Again, just something where your Sims can earn a little money. Technology and tinkering will be at a warehouse in town in the industrial district. There will be a VR playoff. There will be PC build swap, which this one really made me interested. I thought it'd be really cool to have it so Sims could swap built PCs, and I feel like that'd be really cool to do. Lastly, they'll sell upgrade parts so your Sim does not have to go on the computer. They can go directly there and see what's available. Next up is athletics. There'll be a sports park in town with like a soccer field, baseball diamond, like not huge, but basketball court, like all this stuff for your Sims to enjoy. Even a skate park. Like it's the skate park I think would be like it's not a lot, but it's like a thing nearby that's part of the world that your Sims can go to and mess with. Like that's what I think it would be. So what would be here? There would be sports tournaments. Your Sims can enter a bodybuilding competition to use the strongest Sim ever. And you can get tips from professionals, like Sims in the athletic or bodybuilding career will show up and allow your Sims to ask them for tips on how to get better or even get mentored. Next up is music. So this would be in the city park as well. The park would have like an amphitheater where your Sims can perform. There would be performances happening every few seconds. You can get mentoring from music professionals and people who are more mastered in the skill. And you can do practice sessions with everybody. Next up, arts and crafts. There is a museum in this world. It's all right. It could be better, but I think it'd be interesting to have this museum have a arts and crafts fair where Sims can sell their crafts and get mentoring, and they can also showcase their art or whatever they've made. Lastly, for food and culinary, it'd be taking place in the town center, and there'd be a cooking competition. You could swap family recipes. Let it be known, I do think the family recipe thing is a very interesting idea, and I tested it. I think it's cool. I think there's definitely some potential with it. And lastly, there'll be cooking classes available. Next up for the business section, first off, the classes, amazing. I would not do anything to change those. They were really good, and it's really good how they're making it so you can create them pretty much anywhere. Businesses, again, the system used to create small businesses, again, I had no problem with, other than a few glitches, but let's just ignore the glitches and pretend like it worked perfectly and flawlessly. Again, no complaints. The only thing I probably add is cash register because it makes no sense that your Sim just buys something and leaves. But some of the businesses I would add that, now let me know you don't have specific businesses in this pack. This is more you set them as certain requirements that people do. So I make it so you have a grocery store, a repair shop where Sims will bring in broken items, you fix them, give it back to them, and they'll pay you. Bicycle repair, fast food restaurant, arcade, sports equipment store, etc. I think this pack had a lot of opportunity to make some new businesses that we've never seen before. It just never came. So one thing this pack did not talk about is debts, so I came up with 2 debts that I think would be really fun and also funny for your Sims. So first off, death by PC build. So when a Sim builds a PC, whether they're purchasing and adding parts to it and tinkering them together, basically once it's built, it can be a variety of quality, but it can also be poor quality. So when it comes to a poor quality PC for your Sim, there's a 90% chance your Sim will get shocked when they use it, and the PC will set on fire. They won't die. They'll just have, the electric shock buff. But there's a 10% chance that it will fatally electrocute your Sim, and the PC will still set on fire. I thought it'd be funny like that because it's being like your computer overheated because you used a poor quality computer and tried to do something that required a lot of system. And lastly, the ghosts would appear with Flick Block inside of them because I thought it'd be funny to have like a little gamer thing inside of them. Next up is Death by Sea Monster. So when your Sims go deep sea fishing, this is similar to what would happen in The Sims 3 and Island Paradise. Your Sims have a 5% chance that they'll see a sea monster and it consumes their ship, bringing it down. And they're never seen again. They can survive it. I feel like there would be the ability for them to survive, but it's very low chance that they might not come back. And their ghosts will just have fish swimming inside of them. Lastly, another thing that the game did not discuss, because I know Simmers, two things they love when it comes to a new pack, that's deaths and woohoo locations. So I said, let's have our Sims be able to woohoo an arcade machine. You'll see them, it'd be like a enclosed arcade machine, kind of like one of those racing games, for example. You'll see the Sim go in, they'll be like, it'll poof out, it'll like fog up, make it look like there's people inside. Woohoo in a boat, since boats would be added to this pack, you can woohoo in those. Woohoo in VR, the Sims will put on VR headsets and then they'll have fun. You'll see like steam appear so you can't see them. Lastly, woohoo in changing room. Places that sell clothes can have a changing room, which your Sims can go inside and woohoo in. And yeah, that is it. That is what I think could have been for businesses, hobbies, and honestly, to make it better. Tell me what you guys think. Is there any skills or hobbies you think I missed that you think would be really cool that got added to the game? And is there anything else you think about this pack that you think is really well? I think this was personally how I would have done it. But tell me what you guys think about it. So please like this video so more people can see it, and subscribe to my channel if you are new. I'll do all kinds of Sims content here, including news, builds, reviews, and gameplay. You can check out my review on the recent pack that's already out by the time this is posting. I also stream every Sunday at 2 p.m. If you want other content by me, head over to my other channel, garrcall, where I post Mondays and Fridays at 6 a.m., all kinds of gaming content, and stream every Saturday at 7 p.m. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Tell me what you think about my ideas, and I'll see you again soon. Bye!